Welcome, fellow travelers, to another episode of the Never Ending Adventure Podcast. We got a heck of an episode this week. I am very excited. I'm bringing the energy the whole way through, Ned. The whole way through. DJ Ned AP is with me as always. We are pretty well, no gang signs, bro. No gang signs. Yeah. There you go. We're pretty excited. We'll see if we're filming this. We'll see if this goes up on YouTube or not. But I'm just stoked on this episode. This is the season 5, episode 45. We're getting really close to the end of the season. Mm-hmm. Blade of Grass episode.
Blades of Grass.
It feels like a big episode. Ned, I've got, just to kick off this episode with some beef. I've got some beef this episode.
Beef. Yeah. I wish I had a beef little sound bite here.
Yeah, right.
I've got to lay it on me.
That works. My beef is with you, and I apologize in advance. My beef, Ned, is that when we started this podcast, we were trying to come up with what we wanted the logo to look like, and it bothers me that you brought cursed energy into the logo of our podcast, my man. You
cursed
said,
forever.
Cursed
Eternity.
sword. Yeah, we're starting this podcast off with the cursed sword energy on the logo. What are you doing? What were you thinking?
Let's be real here, though. You don't know the future Finn sword coming up.
No. I mean, it is my first time watching through the show, but dude, cursed sword energy. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, the alternative is demon blood sword energy. So that's still probably not as much of a positive thing. But the whole lesson behind this episode is that the cursed sword is a blessed curse, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It is. Well, I'll find out. At the moment, it feels like it is a blessed curse, but where are we really going with this? What's really happened with the cursed sword? I've got some theoretically speakings that maybe as the episode goes on, we can get into. I don't want to do it right now.
Yeah.
But I just want to let's creep into this episode a little bit. I gotta say, and honestly, it's great to see you. I feel like it's been a minute since we've done this or even seen each other in person. So.
We didn't record last week, so
I know. I miss you. I need my weekly dose of Ned.
We need a little rusty Ned time.
Truly. But no, I was kind of just living in the world this episode to start out with, and I just really enjoyed the fact that this episode has a pizza being thrown from the woods to try and bonk you in the head. And it just makes me love that we're in this magical universe where that's possible. And that happens. A fully baked pizza just soaring through the air.
No explanation. No goblin pizza in the woods. Just pizza's bonking in your head.
And it's not the first time. They've dealt with this before. They kind of acknowledge the fact that yeah, he's got me. That sword's so good. It's never going to bonk me in the head anymore.
Yeah. Well, returning to this episode, it feels very Adventure Time-y. We start off, we have a cold opener with no explanation, land of slides, and a bunch of creepy purple men that look like the Destiny Gang. It looks way more like Farm World characters as well, just with the pointy noses. I had to call that out, that it was very Farm World.
It does.
With a bunch of purple men. But the cold, crazy opening with no explanation, the pizza flying out. We're back in the market world, what do you call it? Market land? I don't know. The Grasslands market, but we haven't seen Choose Goose in forever. So we have lots of these little elements that feel very original to an Adventure Time season 1 episode, with still Finn jokes, Jake jokes, and then an ending where you're this is wildly impactful now that we're in canon world, where, we feel like we're in canon world in this one just from the moment that we see Tree Trunks' wedding ring on her hand, that we just had the apple wedding. So we're okay, we're in canon world. That Finn having a cursed grass sword is going to be very, very impactful. And just skipping to the end of the episode when he's this will be a curse on you for all eternity. And it really is. And we cannot get into any spoilers, but the grass sword will play a role, and this episode will play a role all the way up into the series finale. Like,
it feels like a fan favorite sword from what I've seen on the internet. I mean, there's, like I said, there's a reason why you wanted to select this sword as like what you're holding on our logo. And it makes total sense. It's a dope sword. It's incredible. It's got the like Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy costume powers, where the sword itself is kind of what gives Finn that extra boost that he needs, or the power itself of like insane accuracy. It's hard not to love this sword, especially as it physically metaphorically grows on you throughout the episode, or grows on Finn throughout the episode.
Physically and metaphorically grows.
Like,
yes.
I grew attached as well. Like, we've all grown attached to Finn throughout this journey. It's been 3 years of diving into Adventure Time, and here we are deep in the bowels of season 5. I was really excited for this one. The sword itself is incredibly impressive. I have no doubt that this is going to be an important sword. This isn't the last sword, is it?
No. Far, or not far from it, but like, no, this is not the last sword.
Okay.
But it plays a role in, again, it's hard to talk about this being an opener without getting into how it plays into the lore of the rest of the show. So again, for all the fans opening this episode and being like, oh, we're going to talk about all the grass curse in the lore, and we're not going to get into that yet. We will get into that as we approach it. But it's obviously, I think there is a future sword that I think people could argue is a better sword.
Okay.
I think just in terms of like functionality, usability, the fact that it's always on your hand, I think that's incredibly convenient.
And he can control it by the end of this episode because he accepts it, right?
And you can imagine, like they think about like sword fighting, and you got a heavy sword, and you're like, well, you can train to use it and like use that to your advantage. But like the lightness of it, I think would be awesome. Like the fact that it's like almost swinging around like a razor blade it's a whole different fight technique, obviously, too. So that Finn, I would assume, has to kind of adjust a fight technique. And he does at the end of this episode. You see that he flicks the sword and turns it into basically like a weed whacker. That this is his fighting style is going to change. And even when he was fighting the gang that loves candles, which didn't make my tops of the episode, but like amazing name.
I mean, to be honest with you, they're my lovelies for this episode.
Oh, okay.
Give me some sugar, baby.
We got some the lovelies. Was it the gang that loves candles?
The hooligans,
The hooligans. The hooligans.
I think it's so funny. They just got these fragile egos that are connected to their appearance. To be fair, if someone did a 360 flip in the air above me and all of a sudden all my hair fell off, I would also run for the hills. But I thought it was so funny that they're just specifically known for the fact that they love candles. I
mean,
that's
they've got it on their
thing.
T-shirts. They've got I Heart Candle tattoos. Like it's
right.
They love candles. This is not this is an official name.
Right. I mean, I want them to leave Susie and Sue's candle shop alone. They could buy candles. Maybe they get a job somewhere. Princess Bubblegum, what are you doing? Let's wrangle up all these hooligans and get them to use somehow.
Yeah, well, you don't really say the hooligans that love fentanyl, and they're not going to go get jobs so they can buy fentanyl. They're addicted to candles. You say
they're addicted to candles.
They're addicted to the candles.
Oh, okay. Well, now I feel sorry for them. I thought they just loved candles.
I don't know. Maybe it makes it more of a love story that our house canon is like they're just so addicted to candles they just can't get jobs in there. So they've banded together to rob candle ladies. Whatever that may mean.
The microplastics in the candles, man, they need to be careful. I don't know. I actually, to be fair, I joke about it, but I am the kind of guy who's like reading about all that stuff. So I don't light that many candles anymore, and that's just me.
We moved to essential oils recently. Probably a little healthier for the smell good in your house.
What's an essential oil? Where are we getting these? I haven't done any research.
I don't know why they're essential. I can probably survive very long without the oils. So we can just, I call them smell good oils,
Hey, a podcast where we don't tangent and we don't talk about things we know nothing about. Welcome to Never Ending Adventure podcast.
But yeah, the next episode will be, why are oils essential?
Okay, yeah, right.
We'll just do a whole, we'll do a spinoff, But
it's so interesting that this sword is able to, and for whatever reason, I think it's because it's growing attached to Finn throughout the episode. It starts to cut the shape of Finn's head. out of things. And so when he jumps over the hooligans and he cuts that like perfect fin shape into the candle, actually, that's sorry, when he's knocked out by one of the hooligans and the hooligan is going to knock him in the head or with the candle or whatever, Finn kind of has the sword come to his rescue and he cuts a perfect Finn head in the candle. I love that. That was almost my tops of the episode because it was so anime style, like the delay of cut, and then all of a sudden it just falls. Oh,
I was going to say my tops of the episode is the cutting of the Finn head. It just, it is so like cool and like you said, anime style where it's like, does it. And then every time it's kind of like the delayed effect is really cool. But
yeah, I'm right there with you. It's my tops as well is just the accuracy of the sword doing the sword things. It is such a cool blade.
So this is all, I almost want to segue into my deep thought, but I kind of want to save that. And the facts or the things that make this sword cool. So what are your cool sword definitions from pop culture, from movies, from games? Like, do you have a series of top swords?
Oh yeah.
I know you're a Zelda guy, so I don't know if that, is it the Hyrule sword?
The Master Sword. I didn't even think about the Master Sword. It's not on my list. I've got a top 3 swords for you if you want.
Give me your top 3.
Okay. Top 3 off the top of my head. Totally not something that Ned told me to think about before this episode.
No, we have to plan. I'm going to throw this on you. I said, just come think about some top swords.
Right.
I got some top swords that play into like the grass sword is one of them, spoiler alert. So,
okay, cool. I will say just beforehand, honorable mention. I have a sword that I created for a D&D campaign once that I really loved. It was a katana. It was a shadow katana. I could stab it through my shadow, and then it would pop out of another shadow and stab somebody from a distance.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, I like that.
It was sick. It was so sick. It was like glowing green. It was black, but it had like green outline.
I used partner with Chat. I partnered with Chat GPT.
Oh gosh.
To basically kind of create a sword for me for what would be a D&D campaign, and asked it to be an elf and ask me questions about my intentions and what would this sword ever be used for. And I've got a name, I've got blade, I've got aura and power materials of the blade. So, and mine is a katana too. So,
classic.
It's katanas are up top, which is I think why the grass sword hits it. Cause it's katana-esque with the little bit of like bend in it. Not necessarily like kind of with the hilt, but I think it's more about like the mobility. And like, I'm a big video games, D&D. I'm like going to build a dex build for sure. Like all about speed and endurance and everything like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'll skip the number 2 because we're talking about katanas. My number 2 of my top 3 is Rurouni Kenshin's Sakabato, which is a reverse blade sword. And it was the last of the strange swords created by a really famous swordsmith in the Rurouni Kenshin universe. And it's just an incredible sword. The blade's on the wrong side. He has this vow to not kill anymore, and he used to be a manslayer or an assassin for the future government of Japan. So yeah, that's easily like one of my top 2 swords. Number 3 is Sting, which is Frodo Sting and Bilbo Baggins' elven sword.
A big consideration of mine. It didn't make the list, but it's a cool, because I like the glowing mentality, but again, it's agile, it's lightweight, it's all that, like, the Hobbit can use it, but isn't it supposed to technically be an elven dagger, which is kind of
right, or a short sword? I mean, I just love that it's like it plays a role. It saves them multiple times where they're just like, oh crap, it's glowing, orcs are around, and it kind of lets them know to like be on guard, and it's really fascinating. Plus, it's super old. And who doesn't love? As you know, I've gotten into the Lord of the Rings, and I will soon read of Bilbo's adventure as well in The Hobbit. I haven't read it yet, but it's such a cool sword. It's such an incredible story. It could not be on my list. Number 1 is probably your number 1 as well. I have to assume it's on your arm. Lightsabers, baby.
Lightsaber. It wasn't my number 1, I don't think.
Oh man, how could it not be? The laser swords.
It's on my list. Mine was not necessarily ranked. These are all hard to rank in a top to bottom. So I was just like, these are all of the favorites. And yes, I have the lightsaber Luke's from episode 6. I'll start my list off that way. Absolutely awesome. Perfect hilt. green lightsaber again.
Right.
I think in Star Wars too, like we didn't see green lightsaber till episode 6. That's just like my favorite as a kid, was just the green lightsaber at the end. So good. Next one up, we're going to talk about Rivers of Blood katana from Elden Ring. It's a bleed build katana, and it's this awesome. I'll have to send you a picture. It's just guys. The hilt is like, or excuse me, the blade is like all red and like kind of curvy on the blade, like dripping blood. Just awesome, cool bleed build katana from Elden Ring. Grass sword up there, obviously. Also thought about getting a grass sword tattoo with like grass around my wrist. I've seen one or two online, but they're colored in, and I don't do color tattoos. So I was like, I don't know if it would look good in just like black and gray tattoo. So maybe not.
I like it though. That would have been awesome.
Another
you
one,
got
which
another
I was like,
wrist. You got a second
I've got another
wrist.
wrist. That's very true. And I am right-handed, so it's facts. We could do a right-handed.
Unlike future Finn, you do have a second wrist.
Yes, I'm not Finn. I do keep all of my arms. Hopefully,
not
hopefully,
wood,
I'm going to manifest that. Another one, which I will tattoo on my arm, probably my next tattoo, is the Oblivion Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts. Could not leave this list without talking about Keyblades in general. Just an awesome, video game concept that your keys are swords and they unlock stuff and they have the magic powers. And the Oblivions from the first game is easily like the best one for sure.
Cool.
And then kind of from Kingdom Hearts and kind of from Final Fantasy VII, it's Masamune or Masamune. I don't know how to say it, but it's Sephiroth's sword, which is, if you have ever played Final Fantasy VII, the main bad guy has a katana that's like 15 feet long, but it's super thin. And all the battles with him in all the games in Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, he's like the hardest guy to beat.
Whoa, so what a cool sword.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest like katana type swords. And that one might have to take the number one spot if I had to say.
We're weebs. This is great. I love it.
Yeah. So that's why I think maybe we're hyped up on the grass sword a little bit, because we're katana guys. Finn's going katana mode and everything. So it's.
But are any of those swords $3 swords? I feel like all the swords we listed, other than the grass sword, are more than $3.
Yeah, a little more than $3. They're maybe worth a soul or two for the most part.
Yeah, right. Yeah, depending on
you have to kill your father for one. You have to hunt down a kyber crystal for another. Like
yeah.
$3. But he did say it's a waste of $3. And at the end of the show, no, there's
not at all.
Zero bit of a waste.
Well, it's supposedly rare. That's what convinces Finn. He's just like, oh, you mean like, what's he say? Swords like this don't come around every day. And Finn goes, wait a second. Give me that sword, my dude.
Give me that sword, my dude.
I need that.
It's a bummer. I wish they had gone and talked to Choose Goose off the bat, because the main thing in the callback to what's the episode name? It's
Blood Under the Skin.
Yeah, Blood Under the
Season
Skin.
2, episode 4.
The armor of Zeldron is what they're referencing here. And so the armor of Zeldron had like, lady parts built into the armor. And Finn was like, let's not go to Choose Goose. But the upsetting part was Choose Goose did not sell him that armor. Remember, Choose Goose did have a really kick-ass, I think, like samurai armor ready to be sold.
Right.
And Finn's like, I can't afford that. And Choose Goose just gives them a poem that leads them to the armor. So we're blaming Choose Goose for not anything that he sold on his own behalf, but basically tipping Finn off to go find and go dungeon crawl for a different set of armor. So like Choose Goose gets thrown under the bus twice, Yeah,
it's almost a Jake mistake, I would say, because you have a great example of like awesome things that he owns and has and is ready to sell. And he's not my favorite character, but he's a great businessman in a way. He's got season 2, episode 15, The Real You, the glasses of Nerdicon, Choose Goose, and the alternate universe, Choose
Fiona
Bruce.
Cake.
Like season 5, episode 1, Finn the Human gives him a sword arm attachment. He has to, as you're kind of saying, there's got to be a sword there that he has ready to sell. And I'm sure it's awesome. Just how crazy the glasses of Nerdicon were, and even the armor of Zeldron. Like, there's got to be a pretty sweet sword in his inventory ready to go. So it is a shame that they don't go there. And of course, they've got more gold than they know what to do with at this point. It just sits in like the bottom floor of their house. So
yeah, and they will. Fun episode, just a tangent. They will spend it all in a future episode.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's at least you haven't forgotten. Finn and Jake kind of forget, but they go on a little bit of a spending spree in a future episode.
Oh man, I could not imagine how you could possibly spend enough money, especially these guys. Like they don't spend a lot of money. You spent $3 for the sword. Jake bought a pillow from a pillow vendor. That could not have been expensive. So they don't seem like they're guys.
They're humble, frugal men.
Right.
So.
They're not going for the material things. They're not driving around in fancy cars, you know.
Exactly.
They're just fixing up old trucks. As
fixing trucks.
Recently saw.
Hanging out. Buying $3 swords.
Right. Yeah, going the creepy grass wizard guys in weird grass tents in a farmer's market and buying whatever he happens to have.
Yeah.
Cursed swords.
But
I don't know.
I had to, because we could just talk about like kind of the little random moments of this episode that are fun and funny. We could, but I want to make sure I give some space because this is I think we're in a really, and why this episode feels like an important episode. I think we have to really look deeply at what this means and in this point in Finn's life, because we open on the episode where he's clinging on to the demon blood sword that's broken. And he's like, it works well, and I can just keep swinging
his dad's sword.
It's his dad's sword. And so this is kind of his venture to really, we don't know where the gold sword, I think that's what it's called, came from. I'm assuming they looted it from a dungeon. It's kind of chipped and beat up. He gets his dad's demon blood sword back. But this is really, I think, probably the first time he's like, I have to choose a sword. And I think in his mind, the hesitation is kind of the abandoning of my family, like my I don't know if you would call it morals, but like your roots, the abandoning of your roots, and you're having to go off and find who you are for the first time. So it's very nerve wracking. And I think that's where Finn's you would think, why didn't Finn just pump to go find swords? That's awesome. It's I would love to go sword shopping and in a little village.
For sure.
Get a flea market katana.
There's got to be some famous sword of the land of Ooh that they could go adventure for, or something that wasn't Billy's sword, because Billy's sword would be massive. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was like to say, I think Billy's sword has a history to it as well, in terms of a crazy magic power where Billy found it. But I think that Finn is like, I've got to like define who I am without it being part of my roots or part of, like what my dad is. And that's where I think it's this growing up hesitation that a decision I make will be very impactful on my future. So when he picks the sword, he's like, okay, awesome. It comes around, rare sword. I'm doing this. He loves it. He's in his pajamas. He's playing with it at bedtime. And that's when he slices up Jake's pillow tag. I think that it's really maybe introspective is the way to, describe this, but it's his face. And that I think Finn gets really weirded out that his sword skills are so good. And the representation of him being able to cut his face into things is, I think, a representation of ego. Yeah, that like is in that kind of vein that you would just like show off these crazy sword powers and you're cutting your face into things. And that's not Finn. And I think that really upsets him. Like Jake's like, why are you showing off? I'd be like, dude, that's freaking awesome. That's so cool. Right. But both of them hesitate and they're like, that's a little not you, man. That Finn's not an ego-driven person.
That's a really interesting take, because in my mind, I was like, this sword is drawing or growing attached to Finn himself, and the sword chose to do, you're just trying to cut this tag, well, let me do this thing or whatever, to kind of like show my bond that is forming within the sword and Finn. But I kind of like what you're saying a little bit better almost.
Yeah. And I think, surface level, absolutely. It's kind of like it's becoming part of Finn. So it's trying to express itself as a Finn face. You can easily take it at that. And I don't think that that's like not dismissing that at all. But I do think that in terms of if it's feeding off of Finn's energy, which at the end, when Finn accepts it and it subsides and just he can operate it now, and it's not being like crazy. But at the beginning, if Finn's mentality is going into the sword, then there's probably some ego driven stuff there. Okay. And then Finn has the nightmare where he grabs a sword, becomes grass, and then poofs off into existence. That his whole personality could be wrapped up in violence and whatever this like bad thing this sword brings on. And he's like, oh my gosh, I've made a decision that's going to impact the rest of my life. It's going to curse the rest of my life and basically turn me into something that I don't want to be. Now it's gets to the end, and right when he goes bananas going up the grass mountain.
Oh, yeah.
And just slices the leg off the giant beast and weed whacks it. He's cutting up all the grass wizard's furniture, and he's like holding a sword to this guy's throat. And I'm like, that's pretty intense, even for, I guess Finn's, sliced up bad guys before, but
sure,
very threatening on Finn.
It seems a bit much for him, a little out of character.
Yeah, when it's
he's
like
a dingwad,
he has a dingwad,
huge dingwad, according to Chusco's.
And the fact that the grass wizard is like, this is going to be a curse on you for eternity. And Finn kind of has a moment. He's like, well, if that's the case, then I'm going to just accept it. I'm going to accept. And so Finn comes back to the reality of like, this is where I'm at. This is a decision I made. I'm going to live with it, but I'm going to make the best out of it. And I think that is a really interesting way of kind of being like, you will make decisions and or, situations, things, people, things that happen in your life will be thrust upon you. And the more you fight them and find a reason to be like, well, I have to get this out of my life, I don't want this to be a part of my life anymore. You end up driving yourself crazy and doing more harm than if you're like, okay, like I can't take that decision back. I learned a lesson from it. He probably learned to go to Choose Goose first, don't buy things from sketchy wizards.
Yeah.
But his lesson here, he's like, I can accept that. And like, immediate, at least that was an immediate kind of gratification or immediate like sign that he did the right thing. Was like, as soon as I just became accepting, the sword kind of works with me now.
Yeah.
And albeit he's cursed, he's like, okay, well, I can define what cursed means. I get to still be Finn, albeit I'm cursed forever now.
Can he? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I haven't heard your theoretically speaking.
I have a theoretically speaking about things. I like what you're saying for sure. I mean, it gets into one of my lessons, which is simply like learning to embrace the situation that you find yourself in, find the positive in it. I mean, it's really easy when the sword, the thing, the situation is freaking awesome. And there is almost no perceived downside to a sword that enhances your own sword fighting ability and takes down bad guys and slices your face into like tiny tags from pillows. Like it's pretty insane. But I don't know. I love where you're going with this. The permanent or the non-premonition dream, because I was looking for the owl. I wanted to see the owl, and
if the cosmic owl was in there, right?
Because I was like, okay, the grass is consuming him. Like, what is this saying? If there's an owl there, then it means something, So I don't want to look too deep into that. Finn for sure has in that moment a Jake mistake in my mind. It is the Jake mistake of the episode. If you got the soundbite,
making pancakes,
and the reason it's the Jake mistake is because he does what you're not supposed to do when something bad is happening to you. You're hurt, you're endangered, you're choking, something like that. You don't leave the room, run away from people that could help you out of embarrassment or whatever it is. He is having his hand start to be consumed by the sword or be attached to the sword. He's freaking out. He leaves the house and runs into the woods to go find a creek to toss it in. So that's my Jake mistake. It's kind of goofy, but that is the Jake mistake for me. The reason I kind of bring up the dream, it gets into my theoretically speaking. We're just talking about the curse.
Theoretically speaking.
So discussing the curse, I mean, it's very simple. These are more thoughts than anything that as sometimes I do.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thoughts can meld into a theoretically speaking for sure.
Well, as everybody knows, it's impossible to avoid all spoilers. And I don't know anything about this character. I obviously know he looks a heck of a lot like Fern is who I'm talking about. I know the name and I know the face. And
it's hard to avoid that at this point.
That's about it, which is great. So I'm trying my best to avoid more, but I feel like I know people say like there's something really deep there, but
Mm-hmm.
My theory is that either the sword is Fern or turns into Fern. I think somehow through this episode, you see Finn and the sword slowly kind of not combine, but their forces kind of intertwine, or they start to understand each other. He accepts the sword. The sword seemingly has already grown attached to him, but like very much is like accepts him as the master. It stops being like you can't get rid of me and starts to just become a symbiotic relationship of sorts. So in my mind, there's a chance that somehow Finn and the sword become so intertwined that a new being is created or developed, and that being Fern. I don't think they like fuse together necessarily. I just think there's like some sort of an energy thing happens.
Yeah, it's not that simple.
So
I'm not gonna lie, and it is a spoiler drop. It's yes, absolutely.
Spoiler drop.
well, my
That
other thought is
absolutely what
what
happens.
if Finn's energy is being drained by the sword still, even though he's accepted the sword is kind of parasitically like sapping his energy until he can turn into Fern. That's my other theory.
Okay, and that one
I don't
not
want big
spot
spoilers,
on.
though.
It's not spot on. Yeah, and I'm not spoiling anything.
Okay,
I'm just
okay.
like at this point when you're like Fern and the grass sword have something to do with each other. I'm gonna say yes. Like you like it's hard to be like, oh, I guess
There's a thing
so.
there. Okay.
Yeah, but there's a thing there. How it all happens is there's like 4 more steps of like important things that have to happen for that all to kind of like come together.
Okay. Well, that's fun. I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, again, I don't know who Fern is or why Fern is, but you know, I'll see as we keep going.
And that's why I was like, oh, it's so cool at the end of this episode where he's like, you will be cursed for all eternity. And
Right.
that's a big point in like why we're going to keep talking about this for the rest of the show. Yeah.
And what it is Finn is going to be walking around, and the sword is going to forever be cutting down butterflies, and all the butterflies are
Slicing
going to be
up
related
pizzas.
to Finn and past lives. And that's going to be why it's sad. No, I don't know.
No, it's I mean, I just thought it's so funny when Tree Trunks freaks out over him splitting the apple so perfectly down the middle, and she's like, it's demonic, it's so perfectly cut in half. And I couldn't help but reference like when in Rick and Morty when he builds the perfectly level floor,
Right.
and he's just like, oh my god, and he can't go back. Like it's like that'd be like cursing yourself for perfectly slicing something in half. And I think there's like a German sport on how it is like one of those weird things that pops up on the Instagram. It's like, yeah, late night betting on this. And there's like a German sport of cutting things perfectly in half, and they cut it in half and they weigh it to see how perfectly they cut it. So I thought that was funny too.
On Good Mythical Morning, Rhett and Link have done that a couple of times, and I always find those videos pretty satisfying. Just like a pretzel, like a lopsided pretzel. How do you cut that in half?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's
fun to watch them try and do it. But yeah, I love that as well. I think Tree Trunks didn't need to be in this episode. We literally just had the Apple Wedding episode. She could have not been in the next season, and I would have been okay. But it was very entertaining, and she played a great role, just kind of emphasizing like, hey, this sword is for sure cursed. Look what you just did, my dude. Like, it's so perfect. It should.
Which I thought was funny too, because I think he cuts it and there is a leaf on one half of it and not a leaf on the other. And I was like, so it's not perfectly cut in half. He didn't cut the leaf perfectly in half. So that kind of drove me crazy a little bit. Right. My type A mentality.
How did the sword get out of the creek and crawl into their bathroom to do this scary movie? I open up the cabinet and close it, and
it's in the mirror.
Me. Yeah,
it obviously has arms to an extent, so you would also and grass floats and blows in the wind, and so it has the ability. Absolutely,
I like the idea. It makes total sense, especially with the really high pitch like frequency that the sword makes when it's swiping it and cutting things. I do like the idea that the sword itself it's got to be as light as grass, but it's also as like firm or as strong as it needs to be in order to cut through things. It's pretty cool, and it's without a doubt. I made a note that not all cursed objects are made equally. There are a number of cursed objects that the huge dingus throws at Finn. Some of my favorite were a shoe, a ruler, a chair. But I like to think that each of these cursed objects did their thing the most accurate way possible. The ruler is by far the most perfect, most accurate measurement tool known to man, but he cut it
Yeah.
in half, so it doesn't matter anymore.
The shoe is the most perfectly fitting shoe in your
Right.
entire life.
Yeah, except for the other one wouldn't be, and that would really be a bummer. You got one
Yeah.
perfect shoe that just feels amazing, and then the other foot is forever. That's
Yeah.
the curse. Is
it the curse that, if you find something that's absolutely perfect, like we were just talking about, the level floor mentality,
right?
And is that like is it a curse to have something so perfect that it feels unworldly, and like it makes every other thing that's not done perfect feel less enjoyable? Is that a curse?
Oh yeah,
So
without
like
a doubt.
once you put on the grass shoe, you can never wear a pair of shoes again because it will never be as perfectly fitting as that. And that's the curse of all the grass items,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I've just got like funny moments going forward from this episode. We don't need to get into all of them, but I did want to say like the anarchy throwing the candle is what the hooligan yells when he throws the candle at Finn. Finn catches it and says "school" and throws it back at him. That was just like an LOL moment for me that I felt like needed to be thrown out there.
It did. It's a Finn moment, and I thought it almost slipped under the radar for me, but then I caught it this time, and I was like, that's a good way to, I guess, say something as opposite as anarchy as you just say school.
And also, I guess I'm kind of beefing with you again because at the beginning of this episode, you kind of ripped on my sexiest character of this episode.
Oh no. I don't have a sexy character, but
you did that. I want to have your baby. Oh,
no, man. I don't have babies.
We need to find that. I feel like we've done this back and forth like so many times on this show. We have it, we don't have it, But anyways, the slider guys, as known by the wiki, the humanoid hunks that are just they're kind of Attack on Titan-esque, like the Titans, where they don't say or do anything and they're kind of hopeless, but. Just a bunch of hunks that are, for whatever reason, hanging out on metal playgrounds and sliding down them. And for some reason, it's Finn and Jake's mission to go chop them down or beat them up for some reason. It seems like they just want to be hanging out. Like, what are they accomplishing?
Maybe I don't know if they chased Finn and Jake to the slides. Maybe. And Finn and Jake were saving little tiny slide children from these guys, or if those guys were trying to enjoy the slides. And
I think they were just enjoying the slides, and this is just a Finn and Jake training session or something.
Yeah, just like, hey, we don't want you to. You're not supposed to be anything. Yeah, everything that kind of wigs me out in Adventure Time because there's not supposed to be humans, but then there's like humanoid things. I'm like,
right?
Whoa, what are you? Like this is kind of creepy.
Yeah, I know there's some sort of their own species that looks all the same and sounds all the same, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well, before we get to our lessons, I had to read through my D&D sword if I had to build one, what it would be.
Please.
Whisper Light. It's a hybrid katana forged from star metal alloy with electrum threaded veins visible only under moonlight. The blade hums with contained lightwell core, activating a soft plasma edge when drawn. Cool to the touch, but able to carve through steel with precise grace. Normal katana length balanced with nimble arc for rapid redirection and control. When drawn, the sword emits a calm ghost blue light, a barely audible hum like a breath caught in silence. The light intensifies the more fluidity you move, never erratic, always steady. Those who face it will feel fear, but shame. Will not feel fear, but shame, as if they're violated a sacred trust. The grip is smooth midnight metal, grooved with subtle ridges for tactile precision, designed for a warrior who values movement over might. It glows faintly with the grooves as your pulse quickens. The crossguard is a minimal crescent dark steel that mirrors a waxing moon, symbolizing restraint and rising strength. The pommel has a silent mountain hawk carved in black steel, eyes closed, wings at rest, representing your role as a watcher in peace, striker in need. Inscription in a haiku is, even silence has a sharp edge. A blade never shouts, yet wind obeys its whisper, and storms bow to still.
Well,
it's pretty cool.
So this is your future D&D sword that you'll use in your next campaign.
I'm gonna build. I don't know what it is in D&D, if it's a ninja class or whatever, like a dex build.
I had a rogue class when I had my fancy shadow blade. It was fun. Yeah,
I'll do it. But yeah, we can slowly piece together my D&D character over the end of season 5 of Adventure Time.
I just, based off of the sword description, I would love to see a battle between our two D&D characters, fully powered up level 20 with these fancy swords.
Yeah, that'd be
sounds
good.
pretty sick. Yeah,
That'd be good. That'd be good. But that's my nerd moment of the day. What did you learn? Yeah. Did you have any pseudo lessons to what you already shared?
I learned that Ned's sword has ridges for the swordsman's pleasure, which is nice. I learned that on the
boiled
handle
for my pleasure.
Right. So anyways, I learned that not all curses leave you cursed. And that may not actually be the real lesson from this episode, or from the, if we really look back at this episode in the future, but for right now, that's the lesson I'm taking away is not all curses leave you cursed. And then of course the, kind of the brighter side of things lesson that we talked about earlier. What about you?
Yeah. That life, if you look hard enough, everything has a grass lining,
Oh, okay.
Is that a good lesson? I just came up with that on the spot.
I like it.
Dingwads mostly just want to donk with your brain. If you don't let them get to you, they just dingwadded for dingwad's sake. That's a good lesson.
That's a good lesson.
But my main one was we don't always control the circumstances that are thrust upon us, but we do get to dictate the direction we take in our destiny in the face of that unforeseen circumstance. So that was where my lesson went in with, Finn's ego and the acceptance of the choices he made to still be on the path to be the better Finn. So it was a good episode, man. I mean, this could be a top 10 at least in season 5 for me.
Wow. Yeah. I really like it. It's going to be up there for me as well whenever we review season 5. I don't know if it's going to be top 5. In fact, I don't think it will be.
See if it's top 5.
But top 10 could make
strong
sense.
Contender. Yeah.
I almost feel like our lesson could be when given a choice, choose the goose. And it's a choice,
choose the goose, baby. Choose the goose, baby.
Choose the goose.
Man, recommendations.
Russell. Yeah. That's a good question. I've already talked about Treasure Island. That was a rec a little while ago. Me and Allie just did a nab for Treasure Island that just went up this past Sunday.
You did Muppets Treasure Island, though.
Well, so we talked about the difference between the book and the movie Muppets Treasure Island because I read the book when we were on vacation at the beach, or this started there. And then we watched the movie with Tim Curry. And I got to say, Tim Curry's winning me over as just a phenomenal actor. Every movie I see with him, I'm just like, man, this guy freaking brings so much energy to the role he plays. A little spoiler for our conversation. He plays the Long John Silver, the pirate captain. He's not really the captain, but the pirate, as a Muppet, as opposed to as a real person inside of a Muppet universe, as Michael Caine did in the Christmas Carol movie. So he goes... Tim Curry goes full Muppet, and it's amazing.
Full Muppet.
It's not really the best movie ever, but it sticks to the vibe. Anyways, if you're curious about my rec, go check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Neverending Adventure podcast. We've got a whole separate podcast that we do for our Patreon members.
Anything that's beyond Adventure Time that we just talk about.
NEA and beyond. Ned, what is your rec?
It's probably been a wreck in way long in the past, but we picked it back up to get ready for season 5. We picked up Stranger Things again, and it's just good, man. I mean, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way after a little because it got so pop culture and people were doing like Stranger Things themed parties, and they had the Hellfire Club t-shirts, and then I was like, well, this is just kind of lame now. We're just going back through it. And I was like, I mean, it's just a well-made show. And it's really well. We're into season 2 again now. So, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, I mean, it's going on year 9 since it was released. And I was like, yeah, oh my gosh, I haven't seen this in 6 years now, season 2 in 6 years. So
I think I was like, oh, this is kind of coming up too.
Yeah. And well, season 5, the final season, they said like, it's going to be like maybe like 8 or 9 episodes, I think, but all the episodes are like an hour and a half long. So it's going to be watching like a 9-part movie. It's going to be wild. So I was like, I'm really not going to be able to enjoy this until I like watch back through the show and pick up on all the nuances and things like that.
I got to do that as well. I got to say, like, my feed on social media has just been so many Halloween things, especially Scooby-Doo things. I'm like so excited to watch Scooby-Doo movies. I don't know. It's on my feed. It's all over the place.
We're going to revisit our Scooby-Doo Zombie Island podcast, which is probably go back there in episode 30 or something. And I think Zombie Island's back there.
Did you know, whatever the first live action Scooby-Doo movie, we talk about Tim Curry, he was supposed to play the bad guy in the first live action Scooby-Doo movie. Again, something we talked about on the podcast. But then didn't, because he didn't like Scrappy-Doo. He loved Scooby-Doo, but didn't like Scrappy-Doo and didn't think Scrappy-Doo should be in the live action movie.
Dang. What a hill to die on right there.
I don't disagree though.
Like, I don't disagree, but just a funny thing to get fixated on for sure.
Right. Well, y'all check us out on Instagram at Never Ending Adventure Podcast, TikTok at Never Ending Adventure Cast, Twitter at NEA_podcast. Check us out. Email the travelers log at nea.travelerslog@gmail.com. Give us your thoughts, your opinions. Get on there. We'll do one when we have an episode where we need one really soon. So I'm excited for that. I always love the Traveler's Log. I think it's one of the best things that we do in this little show. But yeah, thank you so much, Ned. It's been good. I'm excited. If you have time to do a little nab with you.
We'll see.
Maybe talk about Clone Wars. We'll see.
Maybe talk about Clone Wars. Okay. Well, I love you guys.
Party forever.